Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever in the world you might be. Welcome to 19 to the Dozen, or as I like to call it, the 1912 podcast. My guest today is Elaine Thrash. Elaine is a number of things, actually. This was a good one because I'm a very artistically inclined person, in a way, not as much as she is, but she's an artist, she's an author, she's a poet, she's a dancer, she's a singer, she's an actor, and I don't know if I'm missing anything else. She's a whole bunch of things, but this particular episode was one of the most, how should I say this, enlightening that I've had in the recent in recent times. We talk about a whole bunch of different things from her life story to some of her influences for acting, some of the influences for her poetry, dancing, and about the books that she's written as well. She's written two books, From Depression to Creation, which is actually a curation of poems which she wrote throughout the years, and another book called How to Be a Good Husband, which, contrary to what the name is actually quite a different book from what you might think. So I'm gonna leave it at that because I'd love it if you see this entire episode. It's a really good one. I really enjoyed this one. She's a very enlightened person, to say the least. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Elaine Thrash, take it away. Okay, so it's recording. 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Elaine, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate you being on.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, it's something that I watch your videos and stuff on Instagram and everything, and you're very artistically inclined. And I from what I know of you is that you've actually acted in a few movies yourself. Were you always into acting?
Yeah, I think since I was a child, I remember that I was like, uh, when we figured out what we're gonna, when I grow up, what would you like to be? So and then I be an actress because I was constantly searching for mirrors. I was looking at the mirror and I was like, I can act here. So this is a television. Okay, so to sum up, since I was a child, I when I was a child, I thought that we had cameras in my place, that
Really?
everybody was watching me. Yeah, just like the Truman Show, I had this crazy idea that I had to be careful, I had to act carefully, because people were watching. It was like a Big Brother or something. And then I was always in front of the mirror selling things. It's like, hey, you can buy this lotion for $10. Yeah, and I was always selling things in front of the mirror and using my mom's stuff all the time. And then, but when I started going to school, really like preschool, and they took us to see a play in the theater, and I was like, oh my God, I think that's it. I want to be there. I want to be on stage. And then I started doing some plays at school as well and at the church, because instead of having a very massive mess, just like a boring mess, we are having kids doing the performances for the team of
How old
the
were you
church.
when you were this?
I don't know, 5, six,
Oh, really?
7,
That
like,
young, yeah?
yeah.
When I was like 5, 6, or 7, I wanted to be a firefighter.
Yeah, before that, before I go in, before the school sending taking us to the theater, I thought I was going to be a painter, just like an artist, because I was always drawing everywhere. But when I discovered acting, I think it was bling. It was the thing that caught my
Yeah,
attention first.
I see your, like I said before, I see your stuff on Instagram. I've seen some of your YouTube videos as well. And you have released a few movies, and you have quite a diverse number of roles that you've done. And I
Yeah,
assume that for someone to do something like that, you need to place yourself into that character's shoes. And I just want to get your thoughts on like how do you manage to blend these characters in with, and not sound repetitive when you're doing different sort of characters and different sort of personalities and such.
yeah, I think for acting, one of the most things is that you have to imagine yourself in that situation. You have to create kind of a background story for the character. You have to invent, not exactly invent, but yeah, create the environment, the best environment for the character as well. And then one of the things that helps a lot is some emotion techniques. So we can place yourself, you can channel um, one of the thoughts or energy or feelings that you have, and you can put in the, you can give it to the character.
Mhm.
And if you don't, for example, if I have to play a character that suffered an abortion, for example, they had an abortion, it's not in me because I never had an
You
abortion.
never had
But
one.
yeah, so how can I portray that without, like, with veracity, like for real? um One of the things is that I can channel the different energy, a different suffering, and I can use that. It can be like another struggle that I had, so I can kind of remember how bad I felt, and then I can transfer to the character. Or it can also be a physical pain that I can use. For example, I had a surgery once, and
Hmm.
then I know how it hurt me, so I can recall that the feeling that the what was I was feeling when that was hurting a lot, and then I can transfer that physical pain to guide my emotional pain as well, together with the breathing, because you can use your breath, accelerate your breath just to create that energy in your head that something's wrong is happening
It gets your
because of the
heart rate up
situation.
as well, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, you can accelerate your heartbeat, and then you can use the energy for the character. And we have to be creative, and you have to use our imagination, and you don't have to be afraid, because we usually people are, they don't want to show their wounds. They tend to hide. And being an actress, an actor, we have to be the main character. So we cannot hide our own struggles. We have to be like an open wound, and be generous to our character, because we want to hide. It's but it's so it's a lot of exposure. So
I see a lot of these actors, like you see these method actors like Jared Leto and I don't know who else, Daniel Day-Lewis, these really famous actors, and they're method actors, and they go through like extreme lengths to put themselves in those characters' shoes. Is that really an effective technique? I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis is a fantastic actor. I know Jared Leto, especially during the Suicide Squad. If you've ever seen that movie, it's a pretty stupid movie, but he played the Joker in the Suicide Squad, and he did all sorts of crazy things on the set. Like he used to send like dead animals to the actors, and I don't know what all kinds of really disgusting things, essentially. Do you think is that's like really an effective method to act and to put yourself into your character's shoes, or is it just like, going overboard?
depends. We have to work with whatever works for us. For example, I can trigger myself using the emotion that needs. I can use music, some music that trigger my emotion state. I can use like physical pain, as I mentioned. I can do a very extreme laboratory in order to feel exactly like the character. And sometimes it's interesting when we are going to do that. You have to kind of spend the whole day as if we were the character. Like I'm gonna brush my teeth as if I'm the character. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna cook food thinking as if I'm that character. So it's kind of from other people around us is like, oh, it's weird.
Mm,
No, but you have to get the physicality of the character. You have to think as the character. You have to do our things as if we were the character. So we can put more. Uh, you can juice up our characters by doing this.
right. You know, when you say that, it reminds me of someone like Jim Carrey. You know, some like the guy made this movie called Man on the Moon, and he was playing a real life person, and he imitated this person in real life. And there was an interview with him, I think, where he talks about how he went insane trying to do that because there comes a point where you forget who you are, and you're playing this personality, and it becomes so intense that you sort of forget what you were before this personality, right? So in that entire year that the guy was shooting Man on the Moon,
Yeah,
he was in that character 24/7, 24/7. And when the movie finished and the production happened and the movie released, he sort of felt this void that it's kind of hard because you're not that character, but you've been acting this way for over a year. So I'm that's why I asked you about about method acting, and if that's like the most try that's the best way to act. But I don't think
yeah,
you
but
go to those lengths though.
no, I think like for example, in this case, as I mentioned, what makes the actor feel like what he feels that works for him, like what makes because if we try like using a methodology or using a kind of technique, it's not gonna work. So we have to create something that will work. We have to trigger ourselves to work. If it's necessary for someone to go like this, uh, uh, like spending the whole day as a character, like a whole month as a character, the person will do that. But if it's not the case, we have to find another way. And it's important to keep the balance because you cannot lose yourself. If you feel like you're losing the conscious of who you are, something's wrong because we need to um, be able to assess our character but also to assess ourselves. Otherwise we're gonna be serial killers. Imagine a guy that wants to be is going to portray a serial killer and wants to be exactly 24/7 as a character. He's going to end up killing someone. It's very extreme, but it's something that you need to be aware of, and that's why there comes a point really important for actors and artists in general is to um, take care of your mental health. It's really
Right.
important to, if you're feeling not right, go ask for help, go do some therapy, go take a break, do something, but never let the character swallows you. You have to
Mm,
be in service of the character, but you're not gonna be the slave of the character. You have
that's a
to.
very good point. That's a nice saying actually. That's a nice quote to have. You should be in service, not a slave.
Yeah.
You've played a number of characters on screen. Which one was your favorite? Now, I will admit that I have not seen your movies because I think they're not in English and I wouldn't understand them otherwise. But if you have like copies of them, I'd love to see them sometimes. Um,
I,
but which
yeah,
one's
I
your
have.
favorite?
Okay, so I have quite a few short films already in English, so I'm gonna send you the links later. And I have mostly of them in Portuguese.
Hmm.
And I did one that was really kind of nice to me. It was before I came to Canada. I was in a short film that I was portraying a person that was suffering from major depression, and she was kind of inclined to attempt suicide. and everything was going bad in her life. Everything was going like she was going to lose her mind. Um, a relationship that was not going well. She they broke up, and then the relationship with her mother was not going well because her mom was always away, was kind of never had time for her, and she was basically raised by the domestic, like the maid that
Okay, like
in the house.
okay. Hmm.
And then there was a very strong scene when the character tries a lot of time to kill herself, a lot of attempts, and by the end of and she wrote a letter, um, explaining why she was doing that and why she was planning to end her life. And that's it. And there is a beautiful scene when I use a gun and I kill myself, just like.
What did you like about playing that character, though? It seems like a very dark sort of character.
Yeah, the funny thing is that I was talking to someone recently about it because when I'm on stage, like performing on theater, live performance, live theater. I am usually the funny character, just like the bubbly, just like the kid, like the child, just like a creature, like yee! I'm so it's a crazy, funny, bubbly, and upbeat. But usually when I'm doing short films and stuff, people cast me to be like the suffering person, suffering girl, depressed.
Why?
And
Because
I think
I
that
see you in real life, and you have such a vibrant and energetic personality, to yourself. You're always you're upbeat, and you talk you talk very fast, and you seem very excitable as a person. So to have
thank
you
you.
play a character which is completely the opposite of the personality you are seems I don't know but I don't understand how they make that connection, but clearly you're good at what at it.
Ah, this is the trick thing. I'm not so happy as I look. But anyways,
Okay.
this is
That's another
another
conversation.
another conversation. But no, I feel like it's quite a very interesting way of being portrayed because um it's nice to be funny, be upbeat, but it's also nice because on screen is nice to see the emotion of a character because it's like we're close, we can see, it's better than the on stage you kind of have a distance from
Hmm.
the actors and stuff. But when we were watching a short film or a movie or whatever, we are kind of there with the character because we are close, we can identify better. I think it's really nice when people cast me to do this kind of characters because it's nice. I can develop a better character by going deep.
Hmm.
Because when it's funny. Yeah, it's like
But I noticed that you
relax.
also but going on these like on these darker characters, you seem to be a big fan of horror. Am I right in saying that?
People call me, yeah, in Brazil, people call me the scream queen because I'm always doing
Really?
crazy things and I scream a lot and stuff. And then I've been doing a lot of horror films because I think for independent productions, they always start with something that's bizarre, just like horror films, terror and stuff. And then it's easy to go like in the fantastic world instead of just like portraying real life. And then that's why I have tons of friends. They love this kind of productions, and they've been inviting me to be part of it, and I kind of like it. Yeah, I, I I don't like to see, but I like to. I don't like to do, for example, go to a scared event like just like a Friday night, for example. I don't feel anything. but I like to scare people. I like to cause something that will make them feel, oh, that's scary.
And you know, if you put yourself in makeup, in that scary makeup, you would look terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Because, and you're also a bit of a contortionist in a way. You're a dancer as well, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. And
Uh-huh.
you can make all kinds of crazy moves with your body. Like I saw this one video of you going like upside down on your hands and legs and walking backwards, like kind of like the Exorcist, the woman from the Exorcist. And I was just
Yeah.
like, I was like, oh my God, dude, she can move. But like, was that something that you were interested in as well, like the dancing and doing all these weird moves with your body?
Yeah, I like to combine the arts. For example, for this particular thing that you watched on my YouTube channel, on Instagram as well,
Hmm.
it was a combination of poetry. I I was performing some dance moves for yeah, just to have, because I was doing quite a lot of dancing here during the lockdown, and then I decided to write a poem according to the movements, because usually that's opposite. I did another in Portuguese, that I wrote a poem and then I danced it according to the stanzas. I was like
Hmm.
doing I was like performing my poem. But for this one that you saw, I did the opposite. I was performing first and I wrote the poem after, according to the movements. So it was like experiments. I love doing crazy stuff with my body and just dancing and doing crazy things, like experimenting as well, because there are a lot of
Yeah.
possibilities with the body. We can discover movements that you never thought about it before, because we are kind of like robots nowadays. Sit on the couch or whatever and computer, you tap on our computer and then you do every activity like a robot. So we don't even know our own bodies. So, and then that's why we always get hurt or always feel pain, back pain, headaches and stuff, because we don't take care of our bodies. So we
Hmm.
have to discover every part of our body. It's like we call body awareness. So it's kind of important as well for acting, because we can use every part of your body to trigger something on the character, like the way you're gonna walk, if it's like a person with deficiency, or if you have a tick or like mannerism or
Hmm.
whatever. And if you have like I'm always touching my hair, it's like me, but I can use that for a character as well.
Hmm.
I'm always fixing my head, I don't know. And some people they used to scratch their nose all the time. And if you observe people, they have those different
Yeah, I have
things
certain
that.
tics as well. I tend to do this a lot because when the reason why I know all about all these tics is because I edit these podcasts and I see myself on video, and every time I see
I know.
myself on video and I see these tics, I do this, or I have a tendency of playing with things, like so like I can't, like I fidget with things a lot. So for me, like these are my tics, and I notice these things when I do the podcast, and I'm like, would you stop playing with these things? Would you stop touching the side of your cheek like that?
Yeah, that's why it's important to see ourselves, like watch ourselves later, because we can notice things that, oh my god, why do I do this so much? I never thought about it. I'm so weird. And then you can try to fix it or not. If it's not something that bugs you, so leave it.
Yeah, it doesn't really bug me. One of the things that did bug me is I say like a lot,
Ah, but
and
it's not
it's
only
one of
you.
those things. It's something like a filler word that I tend to use, and I don't even realize it. So again, when it comes to editing my podcast and putting it all together, and I'm hearing myself back, I don't like to listen to myself. It's so weird to listen to myself.
Yeah, that's weird. I know.
Yeah, you probably
It's
know better than me, right? Because you watch yourself acting as well, right? You've probably seen the final cut of your films.
yeah. Sometimes I don't like the final product. It's the directors and the editors' choice.
Hmm.
So sometimes they pick up what they think is the best performance or what they think is the best the best frame, the best angle, and they have to use the scene to for the final product. So sometimes I feel like I thought that the other take that I did was better, but anyway, so it's their opinion. So what can I do?
Mm.
And I end up liking because if I watch it all, okay, that was a pretty thing. Yeah, I'm glad it came out. I'm glad it's online. I'm glad they finished because sometimes we go to projects, just like student projects that I've been doing sometimes quite a lot for student films,
Hmm.
and they simply they don't finish the thing. It was only for the assignment. They deliver I don't know the cut for the assignment, and they don't finish the whole thing, and you end up without a footage for your portfolio,
Oh God.
and that makes me feel really mad. And they have no interest in continuing because for any reasons, maybe because they already got the grade for their assignment, or because they break up, the team splits, and they're not gonna see each other again and whatever. Yeah, because sometimes it's not important for them. They already got the
Doing it for
assignment.
credits, probably.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's where you can
And
see, where people are truly passionate about something. Like for someone like you, I can tell that you're truly passionate about your work and,
oh, thank you.
all of the stuff that you do, your creativity, and you are a really, how should I say, innovative person in terms of the stuff that you do. When I saw um, the dance poetry, is that what you call it, or am I butchering the term? Dance poetry, I think.
Well, I call it video poetry because the
Video
base is a
video
poetry.
poetry. Hmm.
But if
Yeah, so
yeah, but
it's
I'm
it's
adding
something that I
dance.
hadn't it's something that I haven't seen before. Like it's something new, right? And it's something that actually made sense when you're watching the video, when I'm seeing you dance, but I'm listening to the poetry in the back. The movements that you're making make sense, and
Mhm.
you can sort of relate to that. And it's such a it for me it's such a weird thing because like you don't really see someone dancing to poetry. You see someone dancing to music, but it's weird in a good way. Like I mean it's something which is not really seen before, and that I think that sort of creativity should be put up on a pedestal and should be shown, because everyone has things which they do which are deemed creative, but really they're just following the trend of other people doing certain things, myself included, right? I mean, there are millions of podcasts probably out there, right? So, but what you're doing is something very, very different, which you don't really see.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. We don't see a lot of video poetry with dance. We can see some video poetry because I was thinking about people. For example, poetry is a thing that not everyone take it, not everyone gets it. It's hard to swallow for most of the people.
Hmm.
But if you add some other elements to the poetry, just like visuals and like a choreography or just like some animation, so maybe it becomes more interesting for people to engage in poetry because it's really uh, how can I say it's not something it's not a literature like you can read a text and say okay I understand the story.
Hmm.
Poetry you have to think about it more, you have to reflect it more, and people don't have time for that. They just want to read and okay, or they just want to see, they prefer to watch a video, they prefer to listen to a music. But music is basically poetry but with with
Exactly.
music, yeah,
Right.
depending on the song because some lyrics are no.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I hear the
lyrics,
music these
yes.
days and it's horrible.
Yeah, people are losing the poetry. aspect of the music.
Yeah.
There are a lot of poetries that poems that I wrote that some people were reading and they say it could be a song, it could be a, I said, "Yeah, maybe," and I did quite a few with my poetries. I transformed them into music as well.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I am a singer as well, so
I know you sing, but I didn't know you made some of the poetry actual music.
yeah, some of my songs they were poetry, they were poem before, and
I-
then they
Is there anything that you don't do?
um
Because you seem to be doing everything. You seem to be doing singing, dancing, poetry, acting. I don't know. What am I missing over here? I don't know. There's like the
I'm not making money. That's it. I'm not making money.
right now you're not. That's because you're studying. That's because you're studying. But I mean, coming back to the entire music aspect of things, your poetry is really deep. Like I've read your poetry. I've seen you recite your poetry when you were in school as well. So um, you clearly have you're clearly inclined to those sort of um, how should I say? They're not lyrics, but those sort of writings and the metaphors behind them.
Mhm.
Is how my question to you is really how do you come up with this stuff? Because it, it might to me it seems really hard. Like I'll give you one example. For me, I started when I was young. I tried to write a song. It was the most it was the most horrible experience ever because I didn't know how to rhyme. The lyrics didn't make sense. Uh, I didn't know where to start essentially. But you made it like the stuff which you write seems really deep and really meaningful in a way. Like, how do you do it?
I don't know. I think I get inspiration in everything because the other day I wrote a script, just like a monologue for a short film, because I saw a pair of shoelaces, and that triggered me. Those shoelaces are here for a while. I never use them because they are wrong. I had to buy a new one, so I decided to write a script about that thing because only because I saw the shoelaces on the floor because they fell from the box they were. Oh, I forgot about those, and then it's just like crazy things that appears in my mind. The other day, um, I'm gonna say it, but I don't know if it's proper.
You can say it.
I was with my, I can say it. Okay,
You can say. I'll tell you what. You
I
can say whatever you want.
I was with my fiance. We are together
Mm-hmm.
and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then out of the blue, I came up with something in my mind. Someone appeared, and I say, "Wait, stop! I need to write it down."
Oh my
And then
God.
I, I wrote it down. Like, wait a sec. I wrote it down, just the topics because I will develop it later.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I say, "Okay, we're good to go." And then,
Oh my God, that's such a that must have been such a joy kill for him. Like, what are you doing?
but
If I did that to my girlfriend, she would kill me.
yeah, I'm so blessed because she's very patient with me because he knows that I'm kind of crazy. I have so many things in my head. I talk a lot. I write. If I have an idea, I need stop. I need to write it down. I don't want to forget it. And then I write it down. And I'm kind of crazy and cuckoo and I'm like this. So that's my
Yeah,
personality. And
I wouldn't call it
I'm
crazy or cuckoo. I would call it I would call it really unique in a way because really not when you look at everyone else who like just other people in general like they have very similar boring sort of lives and boring sort of experiences. They go to work, come home, eat their dinner, watch some TV, go to sleep, rinse and repeat. You, on the other hand, like it seems like you have this energy which just has to do things. You need to be constantly engaged in something or the other to keep your mind active. And I think that in itself is a big gift because
thanks.
that sort of breeds creativity, right? And you look at some of the most creative artists in the world, some of the most creative musicians, actors, people seem to think that they are weird, quote unquote, but really they're different from everyone else because they're not following the conventional societal norms and rules. They are not in that sandbox of society, and they don't play by the rules of what is what is considered normal and what is considered abnormal, really. And I think that's awesome that you do that. I actually do really think that's awesome because much like you, I don't really follow the same sort of rules of society per se. I tend to speak my mind. I tend to do things that I want to do purely because I think that that would be like certain things would be cool, really. So I sort of get it from where you're coming from. I'm obviously not as artistically inclined, creative, or have any good dance moves. Like if you see me dance, it's horrible.
But okay, so if you're able to move your body, I don't care if it's ugly or if it's weird for you. It's okay because it's your body. So you can move it. You can do whatever you want. It's your body. So
I think a
yeah,
part of it comes
something.
from embarrassment, thinking that I'd probably be embarrassed about it if I move my body and it looks like a stupid white guy dancing.
But it's for you. You don't have to show anyone.
Right.
Just dance for yourself. Just
Hmm.
go dance in the shower, dance in the washroom, dance whatever in your living room. Just move your body and be happy with it. And you don't have to show anyone. Yeah, that's it. And going back what you're saying about normal people, regular people, it's
Hmm.
because they are afraid of showing what they are. They are always wearing masks. They are wearing masks all the time.
That's a good analogy.
And we don't see them because they but they are forced to wear those masks. Like they have to wear a mask to go to school, a mask to go to work, a mask during a relationship. They don't see
Mm.
themselves because they are too scared of showing what's inside. And people need to be more transparent. But sometimes when we are too transparent, we scared other people. That's why I have to control it. No, okay, I'm gonna be less transparent. Just like a little bit
Yeah,
because
yeah.
not
There's no.
everyone.
Sorry, continue.
Hmm? Sorry, not everyone can take it. If I have a struggle, if I have a problem, I know that some people I can talk about it. Some people I can't because some people I know they are strong enough to listen to me. They are mature enough to understand what I'm feeling. Others, I'm pretty sure that they're gonna judge me or they're gonna uh, say, I don't care, whatever. So that's why it's really we have to measure
Mm.
everything.
But I really like about what you said about people wearing masks outside. That's such a good analogy. I mean, when I was actually telling you about people being normal and stuff, I was thinking of something on those lines really, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what I wanted to say. When you say people wear masks out in public, that's so true in so many ways.
And I'm not talking about the mask for the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah, it's something that I think people want to be accepted in society. There's a need for people to want to be accepted, to be deemed as someone who's level-headed, who's stable, and doesn't have any quirks about them, really. And I think that's why people are the way they are in public, right? But obviously behind closed doors you don't know what skeletons people have in their closet, right? So um
Yeah,
we all have some sort of demons
yeah.
in us, I feel.
Inside four walls, we don't know what happens, but during the day, every day, we see people. They need to fit. It's like a machine, and we have to fit the
Yeah.
pieces need to match. and people were like, I need to fit, otherwise I will be excluded, otherwise people will think I'm weird. And we have this eager to fit. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
if you are okay with yourself, if you are okay with your own company, you don't feel like you need to fit. You can play around it. It's like, hey, sometimes I can fit. I know. No, I'm gonna be myself. No, I'm gonna go there and try to fit just to see how it looks like. No, I'm good. I don't want to fit. I prefer fit, be myself. I already fit. I'm enough. I'm enough.
Mm-hmm. I think it stems from from people in general being social, like social beings. We are social beings. We need other people around us so we don't go insane. It's just that it comes to a point where everyone, you don't know who people, who they are for what they truly are because of that, right? So it takes a while for someone to really break out of that, um, to try and to try and get into their comfort zone, I should say, because when you first meet a person, they tend to be very reserved and very, you get what I mean, right? So when you get to know the person and you get talking to them and you sort of see what they are like, they tend to open up more, and they seem to, and almost seems like those insecurities seem to disappear the longer you speak with a person or the longer you know a person. And I find that really fascinating. It's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, is because I'd like to understand people and get to know them, get to know their thoughts and ideologies and stuff. And it's been quite an experience for me, honestly. Meeting different people with
Yeah,
different
I can
mindsets and everything.
imagine. Yeah, I can imagine because it's good to see different views, different point of views, and understand what's going on with different minds. Because okay, we are trying to fit most of our days, but we are unique. So we're unique beings. So we here, and sometimes only in a conversation like this we're able to and make people know who we are. Yeah,
I
so
agree, absolutely, absolutely. It's something that I like. It's something that's really interesting. And that's why I'm really speaking to you over here. Because you're such a you seem like a very extroverted individual.
I don't know. I don't know. If you're saying, who am I? If, if you think I am,
Yeah, you seem to be very
yeah,
you
some
seem to be very extroverted. And the thing is with you, oh, I forgot to mention, yeah, you've also written a book.
two.
Two books. Oh yeah, two
Yeah,
books.
yeah.
Are they novels, or are they
No,
nonfiction?
no. The first one is only a collection of poetry and some other short stories that I wrote, and I published a while ago. And the second one is just like collection of it's like it's not a it's just a book with tips and advices for couples, how to be a good couple nowadays, how to survive
Yes,
relationship
how to
nowadays.
be a good husband. I think that's
Yeah,
the book, right? Yes, yes.
yeah.
Now that you said it, I
I choose this
remember.
kind of very interesting title because in honor to my parents, because and also because of my fiance, he is a very good husband per se, although we're not officially married, but we are kind of living together, so we are married. Anyways, and I choose this topic because actually I'm not talking like I'm not pointing fingers at men. I'm pointing fingers at women actually,
Really?
because yeah, sometimes we women we want a prince charming, we want a perfect man in our lives, but do we deserve them? Are we doing our parts? Are we doing our homework to deserve a guy like this? Maybe we deserve a frog, or maybe the frog is
Is that
nice.
is
It
that why
has
is that why the cover is a frog with a
yeah, a frog with a crown, because if
with the
we kiss a
crown?
frog, he'll become a prince or not, or whatever.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's nice to hang out with a frog because it matches. But I have a prince. I have a prince. I'm not saying that I'm a
You have a
princess.
frog.
I'm No, no,
uh,
he's not a frog.
yeah.
He's too nice. And
Hmm.
sometimes I feel like I don't deserve it. Sometimes I feel like it's too much for me. And I say, okay, if we're together for so long, maybe we deserve each other. That's it.
Yeah, I think I think the secret to a happy relationship is making compromises. uh, we all need to make compromises because honestly you cannot find someone, the perfect someone who is like you. So I'll give you an example with my fiance. So she here's the things with her. Okay, she's vegetarian. I'm not.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
she's uh, a Hindu. I'm a Christian. Okay. She likes uh, the music. Her music tastes are, are pop and basically poppy type of music, and I like rock and jazz and 50s music and a whole bunch of different genres, but not pop, right?
Yeah.
um, we have our tastes in music in movies are also very different. Our tastes in TV shows are very different. We essentially have more differences than similarities between us if you had to look at it that way, from that perspective. But if we had to dig a little deeper and find our underlying values, we have the same underlying values. Like she is one of the nicest people I have ever met. um, when I say nice, I mean her genuineness is something which I do not really see in other people. the and that is something which I tremendously value because I know for a fact that she is going to be whatever she will be telling me, whatever she does comes from the honesty and goodness of her heart, right? So even though we have these other issues where vegetarian, non-vegetarian, Hindu, Christian, things like that, um, it doesn't really matter as long as the underlying set of values is present, because I think that should be placed priority. I see very often that people, especially when they get into relationships, is that they judge each other based on very superficial things like the kind of food they eat or the kind of stuff they watch, the kind of pastimes they have, the kind of sports they play. Very superficial things which in the long run shouldn't ideally matter, but they judge people and they judge their future life partner based on those decisions. So I completely understand what you're saying. With that book. And talking about deserving someone else. Very interesting.
Yeah. So sometimes we want something, but we need to reassess ourselves and see, what am I doing? Who am I? Do I really deserve that person? And am I doing my part to deserve that person? So it is like a game of
It's an
like communication.
introspection. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's you have to value communication, because since the beginning of a relationship, for example, you and your fiance, you are two different from each other, but since the beginning you knew already. You're been talking and communicating your ideas, your beliefs and stuff all the time since the beginning. So the communication has to start good since the beginning of the relationship. And if something's not going well, if one of the person is not communicating well, the relationship is gonna go down eventually,
Absolutely.
because communication is the key. For example, if you're tired, you worked all day and you're just tired, but then you were kind of being like, you're not answering her phone calls, or maybe you don't want to talk because you're kind of tired, and she's like, what's wrong with you? And you say, no, nothing.
I can relate
And
to
she said,
that.
what's wrong? And you say, I told you that's nothing. But maybe she doesn't know, because
Mm.
can be something. But if you just explain, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just tired, um, I think I need to take a bath and relax, so that's it. And she say, ah, okay, I understand. But if you keep saying it's nothing, it's nothing, it's nothing, there is a point that she's gonna think that, okay, what am I doing wrong? It's with me. Is he mad with me? Is he mad at
Mm.
me? I don't know. If that's why the communication is important. Just say something. Say, explain what's going on. She's gonna, maybe you were hiding something, like, I don't want to tell the I'm going through financial issues, and then, oh, I don't want her to know, and blah blah blah. And then, but if you just explain, oh, I'm having some problems with my bank account and stuff, that's it, I'm just worried about my money and stuff. And then she say, if I can help anything, blah blah blah. That's communication. We are here to help each other, to communicate each other. And if the word doesn't know what we need, we're not gonna get help. And in this case, if your partner doesn't know what's going on, she will not be able to help, and it's gonna be a problem, because this little nothing can become something, because she'll be in her head, oh my god, it's with me, he's mad at me, I did something wrong, he's having an affair, oh my god. And everything starts to be like a drama, and oh, just like a telenovela and stuff.
No, I
Inside of
really,
their head.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree. And especially when you said, about introspecting. Um, you didn't say the word particularly introspecting, but looking into yourself and asking yourself, do I deserve this person? And I can understand that, because there are times, when I look at her, and I've actually told this, I'm like, why are you with me, man? You can do so much better than me. Like, it's it's something that I have thought of in the
But
past, really.
what's her answer? What's her answer?
What she tells me, you're a nice guy. I quite like you for the person who you are, because what she tells me is that, you are you speak your mind. You don't give me drama. Like, I am not someone who really gives drama. So basically, if she wants to go out with a few friends, and if they are guys, like, I'll just be like, go. It's fine. Like, I trust her that way. So we have that sort of trust factor between us. So, but yeah, much like what I told you about the values and stuff, is what she tells me as well. She's like, our values align, which is why, whatever might be, we all might have our faults and stuff, but
Mhm.
as long as we have those values which align with each other, I think we'd be fine. And I think that's something which is really important to think of, and communication. Absolutely, communication is key in a relationship. I try my best to communicate uh my thoughts and what is really going on in my mind, because look, if something is going on, tell them. What at the most, what's going to happen, right? You're not hiding anything. When you tell the truth, it could potentially lead to a bad situation, but really, I know for a fact that my mind would be clean in that regard, right? So if there's something wrong, if I'm in an off mood because of some stupid reason or whatever, and I really don't want to talk, I'll just be like, I'm tired, can you just please just let me be? We can discuss some other time, or we can talk some other time. And she'll understand, because
Yeah,
we communicate with each other. So fantastic. That I totally
that's
agree with
good.
that.
The title of the book is How to Be a Good Husband, because I believe that there is no such a perfect wife or a perfect something. We're not perfect. We are good for each other, and we can grow together. Together we can be perfect, but since we are apart, we are just good. Good. We are good. No one is perfect in this world. So that's something that people say, you're giving advice for a perfect relationship. No, no. I'm just giving advice for a good one, uh,
Mm.
the one that has happiness, that has people grow together, they look at the same direction instead of just looking opposite directions. And that's it. That's the key for the relationship. Caring, and yeah,
You seem to be very
good.
enlightened. You seem to be, or yeah, you do. You seem to have this sort of understanding about the world and the way people function and their attributes and mannerisms and behaviors, and you've sort of managed to put that into a book and articulate it in such a way that what you're selling is not a perfect, like you said, it's not a perfect relationship. It's a good relationship. It's a healthy relationship, right? Because you can't have a perfect relationship. But yeah, I think what you're doing, especially, and your acting, your dancing, your poetry, your writing, even, like you've done it all.
A little bit of everything because I don't. I have to say I'm a Gemini, so I'm crazy. I can do a lot of things at the same time, and I feel like I need to feel productive like every day, so I don't freak out. And I have so much to give to the world. I have so much ideas. I have so many messages that passes in my head. So I feel like it's my duty. It's my mission to transform everything that goes around here in art. Everything that I observe, I channel in art. Everything that I live, that I my struggles, I think it's important. For example, my first book is called From Depression to Creation, and it's a way that I used to overcome major depression through art. And I decided to write poems according to what I was feeling, and it was helping because if I the book has the poems in chronological order, and you can
Hmm.
see that the poetry becomes a little bit lighter by the end of the book, the more hopeful. I find hope because I was doing some therapy with art, and just like arts craft, I was doing writing and dancing and performing, so everything was helping me to go back because that it's who I am. Because if I don't do anything, if I uh, if I'm not allowed to do art, I get depressed. So that's art keeps me happy, alive, and
Yeah,
good to do every
that
day.
that's so cool though, that you have those that you've curated all of the poems you wrote. And the title of the book, From Depression to Creation, is such an apt title, really, because it's the flow from where you were at to how you've grown and where you've come to. And that is like, are these books available in English, or is it all in
Not
Portuguese?
yet.
Not
Not
yet.
yet. I think for the husband, it's easier to translate because it's just like
Yeah,
holiday situation.
it's not poetry essentially.
Yeah, poetry, I'm gonna have to work on them. Sometimes, to be honest, I it's been a long time since I don't look at those poems because I feel like I wrote them and they serve their purpose. So sometimes I don't
That
want to
part of your
reassess them.
life is over now.
Yeah,
Yes. Hmm.
yeah. But sometimes I feel like getting if I'm supposed to write poems in English, I have to start from scratch. Like the what I'm feeling now, I'm gonna start in writing what I'm feeling in English.
Mm.
So I'm gonna have an idea. I've been writing a lot of scripts already in other poems. In English, but if I have to translate those that I wrote a long time ago, maybe I feel like I'm not gonna be able to do a good job, or maybe I don't want. I just don't want it. Maybe I just don't want it. Yeah, I don't
I,
know.
for your future, for in going forward, do you have anything in
Yeah,
the pipeline?
well, I think yeah, I have some other poems and I have some scripts and I have other things that I would like to, and I have the good husband that I would like to translate.
Hmm.
But I feel like I need to publish like one or two books in English before going back to the old ones and
Right.
and translating them. Yeah, and
With,
I'm
when
gonna
you
search
do
hard to do that
publish
because
it,
sorry.
when you do publish it, send me a copy, or let me know that you do, so I can get a copy from you or buy a copy
Yeah,
from you.
cool.
So yeah, because I'd be really interested in reading what you're writing. I would have read your books right now, but I don't understand Portuguese. So there you go.
need to learn. Ah, but you know language, right? Because yeah, you're not
Yeah,
only the person that only speaks English. You know other language, right?
I do. So yeah,
Yeah.
Hindi is another language I know, but yeah, you know, it's been about an hour now. Has it been? Yeah, it's been about an hour right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that flew by pretty fast. Um, I want to thank you for coming on. You know, really awesome discussion. I really enjoyed it. You know, you have some wonderful insights that you had to share, and you shared so much about your life and your
Thank you.
experiences and all that you do. You know, I wish you the best in your career. And you know, it's one thing I want to leave you with is that you see a lot of people who want to get into acting, into directing, into writing or singing or whatever, but they aren't really truly passionate about it. You have that spark in you for doing these things, you know. So whatever you're doing is fantastic, you know. And I just want to say, keep it up, and you know, keep doing what you're doing. You know, when I saw the dance, the video poetry that you made, I was like, wow, this is cool. This is very innovative. You know, so keep up with the innovative stuff, and yeah, that's really about it. So
Yeah.
once again, thanks for
Well,
coming on.
and thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this today. And good luck with your podcast and your projects and your relationship as well. And keep going, keep being this awesome guy because you know how to talk to people. You know how to you know how to make people feel good. So that's your mission, and I think is understand people and make them feel good about themselves. So
I try.
you're good at it. You're good.
Thank you
And
kindly. Thank you.
good luck with everything. And thanks again.
Send me all of your links to your books, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, so I can put it up on the description of the video as well. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, so if anyone wants to check you out, then they'll have the link. So there's that. All right, so it's yeah, it's a little past the hour. So thanks once again. Take care. Have a good night and all the best for the rest of your semester. And I'm sure you're gonna do well. All right,
Thank you.
my pleasure. Take care. Bye bye now.
You too. Bye bye.